So we need to pull up our computers.
You can, but you don't
Not
need
yet.
them yet.
Okay.
You don't need them.
I'll follow
For the
directions.
exit ticket?
Miss Valerie.
Yes.
We call you Miss Valerie or Mrs. Holden.
Either one, Valerie's fine. All right, so thank you so much for coming today for some professional development around book breaks, which is a great resource that you can use in your classroom. All right, so as the school librarian, my job is to teach essential skills to students. And these skills include information literacy, which is how to find information from print and digital resources and how to evaluate that information that they find, whether it's reliable, credible, and useful. I teach research skills, which is coming up with research questions, locating information they need, organizing that information and citing the sources that they use, and digital citizenship skills, which is how to be safe, responsible, and respectful when students go online and use technology. But my favorite part of being a librarian is fostering a love of reading, and that's the focus of our PD today. So I try to foster a love of reading in various ways. Read alouds, which we do a lot of. Book talks, where I just share a little bit about a book. Reader's advisory, which is usually a one-on-one with a kiddo, trying to figure out what they like, what they're interested in, and help them find books that they want. And hosting reading challenges, like last year we did a book bingo, and we're doing the Battle of the Books right now, which helps get kids into the library and excited about books. And another way to get students excited about books is through author visits. All right, so right now, what I want you to think about is your favorite author. It could be a children's author, it could be an adult author, someone that you just love to read, you revisit over and over again perhaps. Think about that favorite author that you love the most, and think about if you got a chance to see them live, like just give a book talk or do a reading. How might that enhance your appreciation for that particular author or for their books? Just think about it a little bit. Okay. What's one thing you might do after you see that author? And if you want to share what you were thinking.
Buy more of her books.
You
My
would buy
favorite
more
author
of
is
her
Kate Dickens.
books.
I would go and buy more of her books.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Any other thoughts about what makes you, when you think about your favorite authors, or do you have a favorite author you want to share?
Inspire me to want to do more writing and reading.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Maybe even write your own book. Like,
Awesome.
So, mine's Robert Munch, and he writes about his, like, when he was a child, things that happened to him. It's very, very silly and funny.
Right.
And so I like to bring comedy right into my classroom. So, like, maybe getting some more ideas from him, like, that would maybe write my own story.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you hear writers are usually readers, and they get a lot of ideas from books that they read. So I had the same experience. Jason Reynolds, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a young adult, middle grade author. We do have some of his books here in the library. He is an amazing person. He's just really cool. And I didn't know too much about him, but I had a chance to go to a library conference, and he was the keynote speaker. And he was so dynamic, he was so inspiring that as soon as I left, I just went and got a ton of his books and fell in love with him. So yeah, they inspire you to write, to read, all those kinds of things. All right. The last author visit we had here in our district was Kate Mesner. That was a couple years ago. She writes the Ranger in Time series. She does Over and Under series, does a lot of nonfiction writing. And she was a wonderful, wonderful author to have. She visited all 3 elementary schools, and the books flew off the shelves. Like, I couldn't keep them on the shelves as soon as the kids saw her, which was great. And author visits, they foster definitely a great love of reading. However, there are challenges to author visits. They are expensive, depending on who you get. You can get some local authors. We definitely get phone calls from local authors wanting to come in, which is great, but unfortunately sometimes they're not people that kids have heard of. And we want to get someone that they're excited about, even though those authors, they do usually do a great job. Chris Van Dusen, the illustrator of the Mercy Watson series, he lives here in Maine, so he kind of gives a discount for Maine, but it will cost to have him $1,800 for a day for him to come in, and I think that's again at a discounted price. Keeping large groups like that, because usually when you have one author come in, you try to get the whole school to see them. They have a limited schedule, so they usually have a huge group that they're working with. So keeping them engaged can be challenging. Adequate presentation space. I know over at Pride, when we had Kate Mesner come in, she was amazing, but the sound system was terrible, and it was unfortunate that it was hard to hear her. There's also that disruption to your daily schedule, and we know that your schedule is super tight. You only have so much time. And with an author visit like that, with the expense and the scheduling, you get one per year. Okay, so they're definitely amazing to have. When there's opportunities to have them, we love to have authors come in and live, but in the meantime, we have options like book breaks. Okay, so book breaks is a subscription that I purchased for our libraries, and it's an opportunity to view live streaming events of 2 to 3 authors or illustrators per month. And these are big authors, they're not, ones that you haven't heard of. Let's see. So, like I said, they can, you can live stream them. So usually each event, they offer 2 times during that day that you could tune into. But the great thing about it is that they're recorded too, so you can watch them at another time, so it offers flexibility with your schedule. They're designed to be only 15 minutes. So as like a brain break, you can have a book break instead. And the authors come from a diverse backgrounds, so there's gives access to our kids a lot of diverse voices and things like that, maybe people they haven't been exposed to. So it allows for that as well. And events can be chosen based on curriculum alignment or student interest. And the website offers a lot of useful resources that can be used at any time. And again, I know this is like, it's another add-on kind of thing, but it's fun. It's fun, and if you have a few minutes here or there, you can pop on a recording for kids to enjoy. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the website with you, and then you'll get a chance to kind of explore on your own. So let's take a peek. All right. So it's pretty simple. It's just bookbreaks.org. You're all set up. We set up accounts for you, and everybody's got the same password, book break. And I mean, it's pretty user-friendly, pretty self-explanatory to go through. Here's the home page, and scrolling through, it's just got news and announcements. Yours might look a little bit different than mine because I'm the administrator, but for the most part, this is what yours is gonna look like. And once you register, you have upcoming events, ones that are coming. There's a Judy Moody one coming up, and then they also have recent recordings of ones. That, the Reimagining Legends with Duncan Tonatua, that's a myth one. So I was thinking, ooh, for your Greek myths and things like that. So looking through a lot of them, there are books, there are authors that kind of really plug into your curriculum, and I'll share those with you as well. So if we go back to the menu up here, and we click on upcoming events, so you can just think about what the date is, and it has a list of all the different authors and books. And sometimes you can just scroll through and you can pick the ones you want, or you can filter a little if you just want to stick with, second grade. It will pull out books that they think are most appropriate for second grade. But again, go a grade above, go a grade below. I like to just go through all of them and get an idea. So let's take a peek at the Judy Moody one, April 1st. Megan McDonald, the author, is going to be talking about Judy Moody Was in a Mood, which is the first book in the Judy Moody series, and it's the 25th anniversary of it. So this is what I said when we have resources. So if you would want to register for this particular book break to watch, you would easily just click on the register button, and this comes up. It gives you the date and the time. Kind of gives you a countdown of when the event is going to happen. You can put in the number of students, and this is a great little feature. You can ask your kids if they want to ask questions of the author. I can't guarantee that your question will be asked, but it's just a nice opportunity to do that. I have to do a little bit more research. Kids can send in video questions, so if we get parent permission, we can do that too. It's just kind of a fun thing to do. So when you register, this will now, if we go back to my events, which I think it was already there, it'll be in my events. So it's, you can kind of look back, and you do get email updates saying, oh, this event is coming up. So it's pretty, it keeps you on track. So if we go to Judy, and I said there were different resources. So again, you can put as much into it as you want. If you just want to show, because a lot of kids are familiar with Judy Moody books, if you just want to show it and say this is the author, that's fine. But there's great pre-talk activities where they have, book discussion questions, or just things for kiddos to think about the author. And it also gives standards of, if you're relating to like core knowledge standards, the Common Core standards and things like that. And they also have, sometimes they have different activities. So this is a character analysis activity, and we used to do that in 2nd grade, like character traits and things like that. So if you have little things like that for your curriculum that you could slide in, you could use that. They're just kind of neat things. And then there's also some post-talk after the talk if you want to kind of revisit. There's just, some follow-up questions, things that they might have been surprised to learn about the author or what they think, and just stuff like that. Just a lot of extras that are just kind of fun to look at and might help with what you're working on. All right, so let's see.
Val, can these be assigned to individual children?
So yes, I'm pretty sure they can. That's a great question. So if we go back, and I can kind of help you out with that if that's something that you're looking at. So if I click on an event, and once I've registered, you can get a watch code. So I think, see here, this watch code, if I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I think it's just a matter of them going to the website and putting in some PIN numbers. And I think, yes, definitely they could watch it individually. So that's something I can work on and help you figure out. But yeah, that would be a great, opportunity for kiddo. If you have like I don't know if you still have book clubs or things like that. But with Lucy, when we used to do that, that's a great opportunity. So yeah, so on the day of the event, you just go to your, homepage and click on your events, and it sets you right up. So what we're gonna do is look at, we're going to take a look at what one looks like. I have a recorded event. So this is, okay, so thank you talking about, I was looking through your curriculum and the things you're working on. You have a Civil War unit that's coming up. So this is a recorded event with the author Lisa Klein Ransom and James Ransom. They're a husband and wife team, author, illustrator, and they wrote the book Before She Was Harriet, about Harriet Tubman. And so these are books. I actually put some books over there that we have in the library. Before this year, I looked at all the authors and made sure to order books so we would have them here. So let's just take a peek and see what it looks like. So we have the same host, Jasmine Castillo, and she...
Welcome readers, it is time for your book break. My name is Jasmine Castillo, your host, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. We have schools from all over the country sign up for our talk today, including the Mandelstam School in South Miami, Florida, William H. Lincoln School in Brookline, Massachusetts, Brava Elementary in San Antonio, Texas,
So
and
she just
Riceboro
does a
Elementary.
shout out, which we could, you know, Carl J. Lamb School.
Today we will be talking to the
Sanford,
author and the illustrator of this award-winning fiction book biography, Before She Was Harriet. Let's welcome Lisa Klein Ransom and James Ransom.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Hi. Thank you so much for being here. Where are you joining us from?
I am joining you from the Hudson Valley region of New York.
And I'm in Saratoga Springs, New York.
So they're not live, but I mean, kids don't need to know that, but it's just neat to see the people behind the books, and I love listening to them talk. So I want to just share a couple, I'm gonna just go ahead to some. Let's see. So here Lisa's talking about what she does when she starts
Now,
writing.
Lisa and James, not only have you worked on Before She Was Harriet, you have quite a number of biographies that you've done together as a team. I've compiled some here. So many great reads. Students at the Wilson School want to know about your research process for
Yes, so I have written 30 books, 20 of them are
I know, thank God.
nearly all of my books are rooted in history. So each of the books require me to do tons and tons of research. And I always begin at my local library. And I take out lots and lots of books at the library, and I begin by just reading as much as I can about.
So I just think hearing that stuff from the authors is really powerful for students to hear, like with their writing or with their reading, that, you know, these authors, even though they're professionals and that's their job, they still put a lot of effort into it. They still have a lot of work that they're doing to create their books. And then I just wanted to share with you, let's see, James talks about his process a little bit.
In online resources there. I also love getting out and visiting the areas that I'm reading and researching about. That to me, just those, all those different ways.
So, Bishop is a book that you're both doing together. I also have access to the books that she has.
Because they're husband and wife, they work together as they get
dinner sometime in other places.
same kind of research.
But I also write so I start writing with sketches in my sketchbook, and I make up a mock-up, which I can actually show you. It's called Ink Book, and this is what I'm working on now. You can see some of the sketches that I show that I made. So I'll have the text, as you can see, is already put into the book like this, and I'll sit down and I'll look at my sketchbook, and I'll draw the ones that work best to help tell the story. And then once they are approved by the publishing company, I make them larger, and then I paint the pictures. I often use real models for my
What I
book.
thought was cool. He gets people models to come in, and they paint these huge pictures, and then they take photographs of them. So they're learning about the process of writing too. So it's not just about inspiring that love of reading; it's also inspiring a love of writing too. So I have one more. So you also have a unit on immigration. I don't know if we get to it or not, but there's this great story. It was a Caldecott Medal Caldecott Medal winner a couple years ago, called Watercress, and the family in the story is a family that was originally from China, and the author of this book, Andrea Wang and Jason Chin, they worked together to tell a story from Andrea's childhood. And I just want to show you some things of what they use to do that writing process and things like that.
Authors and illustrators don't meet and don't talk to each other during the course of making a book.
Which is an interesting
Wow,
fact.
that's so crazy. So you write the story, and then the story gets sent over to Jason. Were there some things that, since you said it was such a personal story, what kind of things did you share with him so that he can get your vision?
Yeah, so we talked a lot about my family history, and if you want to share my screen, I sent some photos over. I think these are most of the photos that I sent to Jason. This is me at age 1.5, and my brother in the background, just to give a little context. This is in Massachusetts, though, before I moved to Boston. So next slide. Oh, here, I think I do that, right?
Yes.
So,
And in the book, there's this red car, and that's the car that he ended up drawing from her photos that she shared with him. So I think it's just stuff, and again, it's 15 minutes long, and they're just great opportunities to share love of reading and writing process with kids. So one of the last things I just want to share with you that I think is a wonderful resource is they also have mini lessons with authors and illustrators teaching them. So these are lessons that are like 2 to 7 minutes long. And as you can see here, they're kind of separated. I'm gonna hop on the library skills ones at some point. But I think the writing ones are just, even though, I've talked about that love of reading, just hearing authors, and you had said, Holly, about it inspiring you to write. These are they're short lessons. This is, if you know Adam Rubin, he writes Dragons Love Tacos and Those Darn Squirrels. He was an author in residence, so he actually has about 15 lessons geared, short, no more than 7 minutes, geared towards students of different topics and things like that. So this was one here that he had, and most of the authors, they're pretty animated, they're pretty dynamic, fun to watch. Again, they're just, this one is just 2 minutes long, and he's talking about getting to know your characters.
Getting to know your characters wouldn't be much of a story if we didn't have any characters, so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to figure out who's in this story.
When I was a classroom teacher, I would struggle so much sometimes to just get a point across, and some of these mini lessons have just been really helpful. Just thinking, I'm like, oh, I could have used that when I was in the classroom trying to teach my kiddos a particular strategy or something. So he kind of goes through and he just gives some pretty practical.
Who are they? And on the bottom right, what do they want? These
Information
are the questions we need to answer as we try to develop
they're doing.
the
And I know, did you write fairy tales? Your kiddos write fairy tales? Ish.
So the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Personal narrative.
Personal narrative. So things like that. And then I'm going to share one last guy with you, and I think this is great. From the mini lessons. His name is Min Lei, and he's an author, and he talks about writer's block. And I always think of those kids who just struggle. I can't come up with ideas, and they're just sitting there. So I'm actually going to show you the whole video because it gives some great ideas of what to do in that situation. And again, this one is it's just less than 3 minutes long.
wanted to talk to you a little bit about an important part about writing, and something that every writer goes through is writer's block. When I go to visit schools, a lot of times kids ask me about writer's block. And the truth is that's just part of the process, right? Anytime you're being creative, you're trying to put things out there, you're going to have times where it comes out very easily, you're gonna have times where it's a little bit harder and it takes a little bit more work. So when kids ask me what I do to get over writer's block is, first of all, I just try to be patient with myself. And I know that it takes time. It's not easy to create stories, to write things. So being patient with yourself and giving yourself time to work through things is important. If you get so frustrated when things start to get hard, then that frustration can stop you from moving forward. But also, if I ever feel stuck, I often just like to walk away from my desk, step away for a little bit, give myself some space, whether it's go for a walk or just go to another room. A lot of times changing that scenery and then just like slowing down and just quieting my mind and just paying attention to other things. A lot of times that'll give me the space I need for a new idea to emerge. Or if I'm having a problem with the story, walking away from it for a little while kind of will give me a little bit of a refresher and some new perspective that then sometimes the solution will reveal itself. And another thing I always tell people is that if you're having trouble with that creative energy, you're feeling stuck, then I often like to read a good book or watch a movie that I love.
This is
Because
a
watching
great
other
idea. Do
people
something
be
else creative.
whether that's through their writing or their filmmaking or cooking or something, watching creativity to me is fuel for more creativity and gets those creative juices flowing. With that in mind, also, I always say that if you're having trouble with one kind of creativity, like your writing, your stories, going off and being creative in other ways is a good way to kind of recapture that creativity. So if you like to play music, or you like to build things, or you like to draw, or you like to cook.
So just some neat ideas. Again, you might have to adapt a little bit for the classroom, but I just think it's super powerful hearing a professional author say, I get writer's block too, I can't think of ideas. So, kiddos might not feel so alone or that they can't do it. And just seeing things like that. And again, it's less than 3 minutes kind of thing. So I'm here to help. I would love to, sit down with you if you want to just individually go through some of the things that you might see and see how they can align with the curriculum. I know just time is really precious and hard. But again, if you have those moments, whether it's snack time or at the end of the day, sharing those things, and you'll probably see the kids they look for those books. We had some kindergarten teachers, they shared one on Scaredy Squirrel, and over at the Pride School, all the Scaredy Squirrel books are out. So it's just a great way to get kids excited about their reading. So if we could take a couple minutes, just kind of log on, so and you can take a peek, look at the resources, maybe look at some events. We'll just take a few minutes because I know we don't have a lot of time. But I want you to see if you can choose maybe just one event that you might be able to share with your class before April break, and then you can share out which one you like. So it's bookbreaks.org. With an S. And if you need help, I can help you out.
Looks like my computer doesn't want to work, so I'm gonna have to restart it.
Okay, that's okay. Do what you can. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm really sorry.
I'm always hot, but.
Yeah. Are you able to get in? Yep. Yeah. So yeah, take a peek. The Megan McDonald one's coming up.
I think it's almost easier to go to the recorded ones. They seem to always play the ones that I wanna see during lunch and recess.
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they
The
seem
times
to
are
be at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock,
But
which
no,
is,
this one's
June
at
moves
2.
at 2,
Oh,
June
is it?
2:15.
That's the one I signed up
That
for.
would be good. I'm gonna sign up for that one. So Tuesday, April 1st.
April Fools.
Yeah.
April Fool's.
And hopefully it'll work and won't be a
An
joke.
April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Register.
I watched, I think a couple of you may have, did you see the Mac Barnett, the cat
I
Cat
did
in
that one
Space.
with my class. That's the only
Um,
one I've done. They loved it.
pizza? They did love it.
I bought the book, so they're all
Oh,
like,
you
"Oh,
did?
yeah."
Awesome, see, that's
I
like,
know.
I mean.
It's like average.
Yes, it is, it's,
What's the password?
book break.
Any uppercase word?
Nope, just book break.
More questions don't have to be
I used to read your
I think I put book breaks. That was probably the problem.
So yeah, your screen looked just like mine.
I was thinking you can assign it to specific kids. There are some children in the higher level kiddos. might
Oh,
be
yeah.
interested in registered,
Absolutely.
being that independent.
Yep, and they can go to those higher grade books too, if they're reading chapter books and things like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm gonna see about that. Now, I'm kind of presenting this because I wanna see if it's something we might get again. I would love to, but I think I need to do this more with teachers, just to kind of
Yeah.
show them, what it is. But as I started diving into it more, I got really excited about it.
I feel like there's something similar to this that we had done in my last district that was free.
I wonder if there's another site I know of, it's called Teaching Books. But it's definitely a cheaper subscription than this.
Yeah.
But it does similar to it. But it's not set up quite the same way.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, you can go on YouTube, you can find,
Oh, yeah.
you can definitely
same.
find people, but yeah. Yeah, so book trailers and things like that. Okay, well, I don't wanna keep you much longer. Is there any, anything that you saw that you would hope to share with your kiddos before?
Yeah, definitely. I have kids that are just starting to get into Magic Tree House, so I just found a Magic Tree
Oh,
House.
yes, she was great. I loved that one.
Yeah, and but I also clicked on something and now there's like comprehension questions, like, so when they're reading the chapters, like I can ask them, like,
You
I've
can-
read the stories, but I haven't read them in a long time, so
Yeah.
just to go back and, like, chapter 1, like, has just questions.
Awesome.
So
That's great. Anybody else wanna?
I wanna know how she found Magic Tree House.
Second grade.
Pass for program. Okay.
Yeah, so you can go, I mean, it takes a little bit, it's pretty easy to go through, but there is a lot to it, so.
Probably search too, right? Type in Magic
Yeah,
Tree
you
House.
could, absolutely.
just passive and just keep scrolling all the way down, it was there.
All right, well, that's my time.
Oh, sorry. That
That's
was the end.
Thank you. That's my time with you. I know you have, stuff I want you to get back to. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with me. And I want you to know that, again, we have a lot of the books by authors, not a ton. We don't have multiple copies, but kids can easily, we go and find read-alikes. And that's one way to get kids to love books. And if you, hit upon a book break that you like and your kids really like, let me know and I can pull some of the books for you and you can have them in your classroom. I'm happy to pull those together for you. And if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. So last thing I would love for you to do is there's just a little Google form in your email with a little exit ticket, and I'd appreciate it if you could just fill that out, a couple questions, and please reach out if you have any questions or if you want me to get some books for you. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks.